Well, we're going to shift gears now because obviously the music we're hearing means one thing and one thing only.
My favorite part of the show.
The
It's got to be
police,
the police blotter.
The police blotter, ladies and gentlemen, and it's been a pretty eventful few weeks since we last convened. We're going to start this time not with a player, but with a mother of a player. Gloria James, the 42-year-old lass, mother of LeBron James, was arrested last month by Miami Beach police after she reportedly attacked and assaulted a hotel valet. Police said that several witnesses supported the account of the valet, Sorrel Rockefeller, who I'd imagine has money.
I would think.
Who claimed that James assaulted him because it was taking him too long to have her car delivered. Yeah, busy young
valet?
woman, you know. Police said that when they arrived at the Fontainebleau Hotel at 4:47 a.m. Fontainebleau a.m., James had a strong odor of alcohol in her breath and her eyes were bloodshot. She was taken to Miami Beach Police headquarters and charged with simple battery and disorderly conduct. She apparently was out with friends, and police said James and the driver of the vehicle were initially uncooperative with the investigating officer. There's a big surprise.
Yeah.
Police reports said she was released to Heat executive Steve Stowe, who's a high-ranking member of the team's basketball operations department. And she was in trouble a few years back. She was arrested on drunken driving charges in Akron, Ohio 5 years ago, given a suspended sentence, fined in order to complete a drug and alcohol class after pleading no contest to reckless operation, speeding, disorderly conduct, and physical control of a motor vehicle under the influence.
Wow.
And of course, we remember LeBron had to deal with rumors of his mother getting together with Delonte West, a former teammate at the time. So I just want to say this, Robert.
Unconfirmed.
You don't hear about Timmy Thomas's mother, or you don't hear about Patrice Bergeron's mother beating up hotel valets, do you?
No, you don't. And actually, I've met Timmy Thomas's mother, and she's a wonderful person.
Yes, we've met both parents, actually. And your brother Johnny met them as well.
Yes, he did.
Yes. Back to the world of, into the world of college sports now. Jorge Wright of West Virginia has been suspended indefinitely. He's a redshirt junior. He was arrested last week on the eve of the Mountaineers spring game. Is that carbonated beverages you're drinking? And he was charged with marijuana possession and carrying a gun without a license, both misdemeanors. He then played the next day in the gold-blue game. Now, his arrest and was no deterrent to his coming back quickly. You remember last year, cornerback Brandon Hogan, no relation to Billy Hogan, was suspended indefinitely after a DUI charge early in the season. He missed one game. Wide receiver Jock Sanders was arrested for the same charge in February of 2009, suspended indefinitely, but he came back to play in the opener. So we don't know what other disciplinary action might follow this, but obviously down in West Virginia, you get in trouble, you don't miss much time.
No, evidently, huh?
Also, college football. Oregon linebacker Kiko Alonso has been suspended indefinitely by Ducks coach Chip Kelly. Alonso was arrested last week on charges of burglary, criminal mischief, and criminal trespassing, according to local reports. Now, these reports stated that Alonso was arrested after a Eugene, Oregon woman called 911 to report a strange man pounding on her front door, demanding to be let inside. The woman left the house, and then the police arrived to find the door broken open, and Alonso was inside. And, this is just what goes on in the world of college football. Do you remember hearing anything about Philip Samuelson, the BC College hockey player, kicking down any doors? I don't recall that either.
No. He wasn't in a car, though. There was an accident in front of the...
He was not driving, though.
No, he wasn't.
No. What happened is actually he stuck his knee in front of another car.
That's exactly
and hurt the car. That car now has ossificans myositis.
The apple don't fall far from the tree, bro.
Yep. Cincinnati Reds pitcher Mike Leake was sentenced to counseling and 30 hours of community service after pleading guilty Friday to a charge reduced from theft to unauthorized use of property. The 23-year-old righty was arrested by Cincinnati police, and he was trying to leave Macy's with 6 T-shirts, totaling almost $60. He said before the Reds game against the Marlins, he was trying to exchange the T-shirts that were too small. Instead of seeking help from a clerk, he just left the already purchased T-shirts, picked up new ones, and figured he'd leave the store. That didn't work out so well. So
he could get together with almost somebody local here and have a summer ensemble.
Yes, he could. Well, why don't you expound a little bit?
Well, there was rumor, allegations that Chris Nyland had left their store with some summer wear.
Yes.
Summer wear, bathing suits.
Well, I'd be happy to let you know Chris has started to put his life together based on a conversation I had with someone in Montreal.
Well,
so,
that's good
he had some problems. Yeah, it is good to know because, you know what? he hit some tough times, and I
Yeah,
think he's on
yeah.
the rebound. He's trying to find work, and I've heard him on the radio in Montreal. But Mike Leake was Cincinnati's 2009 #1 draft pick. Right now he's 3-0 with a 4.40 ERA in 5 games, going 2-0 since the arrest. So Mike Leake's not a bad ball player, but I guess the lesson here is this. When you're at the draft table and you have the #1 pick, don't take a leak. I mean, on the Mike Leake.
Absolutely.
Yeah. From Florida, former Red Sox and Major League outfielder Carl Everett was in a Tampa jail recently on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon after putting a handgun to his wife's head, according to the police. I mean, who among us hasn't, at one point or another, put a handgun to your spouse's melon?
Minor infraction.
Yeah. Now he's 30.
He said some antics while he was around here too.
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
he?
Family Day. He nearly killed an umpire.
Yeah.
Referring to someone, Dan Shaughnessy, as someone's curly-haired boyfriend.
Yeah.
Believes in dinosaurs.
It's nice for Family Day.
So he was arrested at his home and also charged with tampering with a witness and was being held in the county jail. According to the affidavit, he and his wife of 18 years got into an argument and Everett pressed a silver handgun against the side of her head. The wife attempted to call 911 twice using 2 different phones, but Everett managed to grab the phones and broke them both. That's all that has been released as far as details. The couple does have 3 children. It was not known if the kids were there during the fight or arrest, or maybe they were scrambling to find a phone that had yet to be smashed. And he played 14 years in the big leagues. He was with the Marlins, the Mets, the Astros, here with the Red Sox, the Rangers, White Sox, Expos, and Seattle Mariners. So you kids out there, the moral of the story is this. Marriage is a sacred thing. Don't go putting handguns against your wife's head just because you have a fight. Work it out.
And thank God for that Verizon family plan on those phones.
Another Red Sox player is in the news. Do you remember Derek Lowe?
Oh, yes.
Well, Derek was arrested last week in Buckhead and charged with driving under the influence, reckless driving, and making an improper lane change. He was
Excuse me, where?
Buckhead.
Buckhead.
Yes.
I thought you had a lisp.
No. He was released on a bail of $2,944. I don't know how they arrived at that. You can figure out he was probably still drunk by the looks of his mugshot. Now, according to cops, he was pulled over at around 10 p.m. after troopers spotted 2 cars racing down Peachtree Road. The cops detected a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage on his breath. They did a field sobriety test, and Lowe, probably been around the block, figured he's not taking the breathalyzer. He knew it could do more harm than good. And then his 2011 Porsche Panamera was impounded. I'd love to know what that goes for.
Yeah.
And then Derek Lowe, after sobering up, sent a lame apology out, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember former Edmonton Oilers goalie Ron Lowe racing his Porsche Panamera up and down the streets drunken.
Oh, Kevin Lowe.
No.
No. They know how to act. They're hockey
Absolutely
players.
not. Absolutely not. Sticking with the world of baseball, the Cleveland Indians' Shin-Soo Choo spent Tuesday afternoon talking to his teammates one by one to express how sorry he is for his off-field arrest on suspicion of drunken driving and the embarrassment it caused his team. Now, he was arrested after a breathalyzer showed he had a blood alcohol of .201, which is more than double Ohio's legal limit of .08.
He probably should have spoke to Derek Lowe about taking that breathalyzer.
Yes, he should have. He is the 6th Major League player to be cited on a drunken driving charge this year, and he was arrested after failing a field sobriety test. The cops saw his white Cadillac SUV driving erratically before he was stopped. He's a 28-year-old South Korean, which, by the way, he can speak English. How long's Matsusaka been here?
Yeah.
He still needs an interpreter.
I know.
That's something else there. According to the police, a patrolman first spoke to Chu at 2:25 a.m. He told the officer he was lost and needed directions to Avon Lake. Chu was allowed to continue driving.
Really?
What? When does that happen? He was later pulled over when he twice crossed the double yellow lines and drifted into a bike path. Good thing no one's out biking at 2:25 a.m. He told the cops his GPS had broken and he was unable to get directions home. They saw that his eyes were all bloodshot and he reeked, so he was unable to complete a heel-to-toe walking test, and those are tough.
Oh,
I mean, I've heard they're tough. I've heard they're tough.
From what I've read.
Yeah.
They're rough.
He lost balance, and then he failed a bunch of other sobriety tests. So he was released without bond and was driven home while being escorted. And while being escorted outside by an officer, he reportedly smashed his camera into the parking lot. So that's Sin Shu Chu, who has been in a little bit of trouble. And let me just close with this. I don't think you've heard of the Worcester Sharks' Jonathan Cheechoo pulling these antics, have you?
Local,
So
nice.
once again, folks, it never seems to affect the world of hockey,
No.
these people, these miscreants out there. Now, why can't these morons who are making millions of dollars annually, if not monthly, get a driver?
Behave.
Exactly.
Just behave. How's that work?
Exactly. Exactly.
How come like none of us would get a break? Like, oh, you're blowing a 1.8 fine. Just drive
Yeah,
home.
you can
be
drive
cool.
home.
You'll
That's
be
all right.
set.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens.
I mean, it doesn't happen in Canton, Massachusetts, or Norfolk, Massachusetts, and the New York State Police wouldn't let it happen either.